Two athletes, $2 billion brands, and two completely different playbooks. Messi and Ronaldo are the most recognizable athletes in history. Together, they have earned billions through salaries, endorsements, and businesses that extend well beyond football or soccer. But what fascinates me most about them is not how much they have earned, it's how differently they built it. One optimized for trust and authenticity, and the other for visibility and scale. Both reach the same destination through entirely different routes. In this video, I'm going to break down their business strategies, and I will not look at it through the lens of a soccer analyst or a fan. I will be wearing my marketer hat and analyze brand architecture, audience strategy, revenue diversification, and long-term equity. The lessons I'm going to discuss in this video are not just about football or soccer. You will learn how a brand, whether it's personal or commercial, gets built to last. Elite athletes who became global business empires follow a path that looks deceptively simple on paper. Elite performance creates attention. Attention creates brand equity. Brand equity attracts commercial partnerships. Partnerships fund owned businesses, and owned businesses build long-term wealth. Messi and Ronaldo are the two most extreme examples of this model in the history of sport. According to Forbes, Lionel Messi has earned an estimated $1.8 billion on and off the field throughout his career, before taxes and agents' fees. Cristiano Ronaldo became the first footballer to cross $1 billion in career earnings, and as of 2025 is reported as the first active team sport athlete to surpass $2 billion. In their most recent annual earnings, Forbes estimated Ronaldo at $300 million, around $235 million on-field and $65 million off-field, making him the world's highest-paid athlete in 2026. Messi came in at $140 million, roughly split evenly between on-field and off-field income. Here is the marketing lesson buried in those numbers. Ronaldo earns more than double what Messi earns annually, but Messi's off-field income as a percentage of his total earnings is proportionally higher. That tells you something important: how their brands are structured differently, and where each generates leverage. Performance creates attention. Brand strategy converts attention into long-term enterprise value. That's the model. Now let's look at how each of them executed it. Let's start with Messi. If you were writing a brand brief for Lionel Messi, it would read something like this: humble, authentic, family first, team-oriented, and quietly exceptional. His brand promise, the thing every partnership, every appearance, and every piece of content reinforces, is this: the genius who lets performance speak. That positioning is expressed through everything he does commercially, whether it's a lifetime partnership with Adidas, long-term relationship with Mastercard, Apple, Lay's, and Michelob Ultra. Selective public appearances that make each one feel meaningful rather than routine. For global brands, Messi is a low-risk, high-trust ambassador. His endorsements generate credibility. Now let's switch to Ronaldo. The brief for Cristiano Ronaldo reads completely different: excellence, discipline, luxury, ambition, and unapologetic confidence. His brand promise is this: the ultimate high-performance athlete. And where Messi's brand is expressed through restraint, Ronaldo's is expressed through volume. High-frequency content across every platform. Fitness storytelling that reinforces his discipline narrative. A CR7 identity extended into apparel, hotels, fitness club, fragrances, and media ventures. For global brands, Ronaldo is a high-reach aspirational icon. He does not just reach massive audiences, he commands them. This is the marketing lesson, and it's one I find genuinely instructive for any brand builder. Different positioning can be equally successful, but only when it's consistent, authentic, and aligned with the person behind the brand. Messi trying to be Ronaldo would fail. Likewise, Ronaldo trying to Messi would also fail. What works is the ruthless commitment to a clear identity sustained over nearly 2 decades without deviation. That consistency is rarer than it looks. Most brands, whether it's personal and commercial, drift from that. They chase trends, they react to competition, and they lose the thread. These two athletes never did, and that is not accidental. I see that as sheer discipline. Messi's audience strategy is built on scarcity and authenticity. He does not chase constant visibility, he does not post daily, and he does not manufacture moments. His brand leans on the emotional weight of major sporting achievements, World Cup victories, Champions League nights, late career brilliance, and lets those moments do the work. When Messi does appear publicly or commercially, the relative scarcity of those moments give each one more weight. I want you to understand this. That's a deliberate positioning choice and not a gap in his strategy. Ronaldo's audience strategy is the opposite and equally deliberate. High posting frequency across every major platform. Fitness content that reinforces his discipline narrative every single day. Lifestyle and luxury content that extends the brand beyond football. Direct fan engagement that makes his following feel personal rather than transactional. Ronaldo has one of the largest social media followings in the world, and it's a distribution asset, giving him extraordinary direct reach for product launches, partnerships, and brand activations that most brands would spend tens of millions to replicate. Here's the thing about these two approaches that I want you to sit with it. Neither is superior. They are suited to different brand architectures. Scarcity drives premium perception and deepens trust, and frequency builds reach, ownership, and commercial leverage. The mistake most brands make is trying to do both simultaneously, posting constantly while also claiming to be premium and selective. That contradiction destroys positioning faster than almost anything else. Pick a lane, commit to it, then execute it with the same consistency these two have maintained for 20 years. Let's get into the actual business architecture. This is where you will get the real marketing lessons. Messi's revenue sources include his football contract, MLS-enabled revenue-sharing engagements tied to league partners including Apple and Adidas, long-term endorsement deals, licensing income, MIM hotels, the mass sports drink, a production company, and strategic investments. What's interesting about the MLS structure specifically is that Messi's total annual value across salary, ownership stake, and marketing arrangements is estimated at $70 to $80 million, even though his base MLS salary is significantly lower. His current base salary is $25 million with guaranteed compensation of around $28.3 million for 2026. That gap between the base salary and the total value is the story. Messi negotiated equity and commercial arrangements that do not show up in the salary line. That's sophisticated brand monetization, turning performance into ownership and not just income. Ronaldo's revenue architecture is broader by volume. Football salary primarily in Saudi Arabia, a global endorsement portfolio, CR7 apparel, CR7 hotels, fitness clubs, fragrances, media and content ventures, and investments. As per Forbes, $300 million over the past year, $235 million on field, and $65 million off field. The on-field number reflects his Saudi contract, and the off-field number reflects a commercial machine that operates at scale. The marketing lesson here is one I come back to repeatedly with the businesses I work with. The highest value personal brands and the highest value commercial brands diversify beyond their primary revenue source into owned assets, licensing, long-term partnerships, and equity. Think of it this way: salary is rented income. It stops when performance stops. But owned businesses, equity stakes, and licensing arrangements compound over time. Both Messi and Ronaldo understood this early in their career. A lot of athletes and most brands understand it too late. Global brands invest in Messi and Ronaldo for fundamentally different reasons. And understanding why tells you a lot about how sponsorship decisions actually get made at the executive level. Brands investing in Messi are buying trust, authenticity, stability, and emotional connection. A low-risk ambassador whose association transfers credibility without generating controversy. When Mastercard puts Messi in a campaign, they are not just buying his reach. They are buying the associations consumers already have with him: reliability, quiet greatness, the sense that he has earned everything without needing to tell you about it. But brands investing in Ronaldo are buying something different: visibility, aspiration, scale, high frequency engagement. A high reach ambassador whose following is both enormous and actively engaged. When Nike built a lifetime partnership with Ronaldo, they were investing in the distribution system as much as a brand association. His ability to activate audiences across platforms, across markets, and across demographics is commercially unique. Here is what I find most instructive about this for marketers thinking about their own partnerships and endorsements. For sponsors, it's less about reaching audiences and more about aligning with the right moments. Messi signals reliability and genuineness. Ronaldo signals ambition, status, and global reach. Before investing in any partnership, whether with an athlete, creator, or brand, ask yourself this question: what will people believe about us because of this association? Let me give you a framework for evaluating both brands across the dimensions that matter commercially. I want to be clear about something before I share this. These are analytical judgments based on public positioning and business strategy. They are not objective measurements. The point is not to declare a winner. I want to show two differently, equally valid and long-term strategies performing at the highest level. When it comes to brand trust, Messi is exceptional. His consistency, humility, and authenticity over 2 decades have built a trust reserve that is extraordinarily difficult to replicate. Ronaldo also has a strong brand trust. Some polarization exists, but his disciplined narrative is credible and consistent. In terms of global visibility, Ronaldo is exceptional. The largest social following in the world is not a positioning choice. I see it as a commercial infrastructure. Messi is also very strong in this area. Major sporting moments generate enormous global visibility amplified by scarcity. When it comes to audience ownership, Ronaldo dominates. Direct, high-frequency relationship with hundreds of millions of followers across platforms. Messi also has a deeply loyal audience, smaller but highly engaged. In terms of commercial diversification, I see Ronaldo having an edge. CR7 as a multi-category consumer brand represents genuine diversification. Messi has a growing portfolio of owned ventures, though still more endorsement-weighted than Ronaldo. Both athletes dominate in terms of long-term partnerships. Lifetime deals with Nike and Adidas represent the gold standard of brand partnership longevity. And lastly, we have brand consistency, and both athletes dominate this area. 20 years, one clear identity, no drift, no contradiction. That is genuinely rare. If you are under the impression that one of these models is clearly superior, you're mistaken. They are optimized for different objectives. Messi's model maximizes trust and partnership quality, and Ronaldo's model maximizes reach and commercial scale. Both created huge long-term enterprise value. The lesson here is not which model to copy. What we can learn is that a commitment to a clear, consistent model executed over years is what creates lasting brand equity. Let me distill this into 5 lessons you can apply to any brand, personal or commercial. Your product comes before your promotion. Messi and Ronaldo built commercial empires on the foundation of genuine excellence. You can tell a compelling story, but people remember whether it was true. Don't make the mistake of investing in brand before investing in product. Consistency beats constant reinvention. Both athletes have maintained a clear, recognizable brand identity for nearly 20 years. In a world that rewards novelty, their discipline in not chasing trends is what made them permanent. Own your audience. Ronaldo's social infrastructure gives him commercial leverage that no sponsorship deal can replicate. Direct channels, newsletters, social following, owned platforms, all these create independence. Diversify your revenue. The strongest personal brands build businesses that extend beyond their primary profession. As I said earlier, salary and endorsements are rented income. But owned businesses, equity, and licensing, these things add up. The earlier you build the diversification layer, the longer it works for you. And lastly, protect your reputation. Trust and consistency increase the lifetime value of a brand. Every decision Messi makes commercially reinforces his positioning, and every decision Ronaldo makes commercially reinforces it. That coherence is not accidental. It's the result of knowing exactly what your brand stands for and refusing to compromise it for short-term gain. Messi and Ronaldo did not follow the same playbook. Messi built a brand rooted in authenticity, trust, and quiet excellence. And Ronaldo built one centered on ambition, visibility, and scale. Both strategies created amazing businesses because they were authentic to the person behind the brand. Here is the thing, the lesson is not to copy either one. It's to build a brand that consistently reflects your own strengths. Then execute that identity with the same relentless discipline these two have shown for 20 years. A personal brand comes from sticking with one strategy long enough for it to matter. That applies whether you are a global athlete, a founder, or a marketing leader building something from scratch.